One of the main sources of inquiries we're currently receiving from advisors seems to be around leasehold properties. And I'd like to take this opportunity to not dispel myths, but I think to explain some of the issues that can arise with leasehold properties and actually why it's important before you speak or see any clients that have got a leasehold property to take advantage of the Barton Law pre-app triage service, which currently, sadly for you all out there, you have to come direct to me. So I'm the person that runs that triage service. There are a number of potential issues with leasehold properties that can be a stumbling block, but I think if we can address those issues early on, then hopefully we can circumvent them, or at least see if there will or will not be an issue, because none of us here want to cause any problems or upset for clients and want as smooth a completion as possible. So there are four main areas. Firstly, the length of the lease. So if you're looking at your diary on a Monday morning and you see that your client's booked in, if you email through to me or give me a ring, I'll get you a copy of the deeds. The deeds in its simplest form will show how long is left on the lease. So depending on which lender you're choosing, you can then see, and the age of the customers, of course, you can see whether that lease length is sufficient for a lifetime mortgage. If it isn't, that will naturally lead into a conversation with your clients about a lease extension, as to whether, firstly, the landlord's interested in a lease extension, so whether it will be informal with the landlord, or if the landlord declines to proceed with a lease extension, whether we have to go what's called the statutory route for a lease extension, which is slightly longer in process, takes about 18 months, slightly more expensive, but it is still all doable. Lease length is the first thing to look at. Secondly, and for those of you watching this today will probably groan as I say this, ground rent. There was a change in the law several years ago now, which in essence said that if you live inside of London and your ground rent exceeded £1,000 a year, or outside of London and exceeded £250 a year, then your lease was technically changed from a lease to an assured short-hold tenancy. So when you're contacting us for the triage service and asking for a copy of the deeds, we'll also automatically provide you with a copy of the lease, from which we can see how much ground rent is being paid from day one on the lease, and also, and importantly, the escalation clauses, because whilst you might have an initial hurrah when you see that the ground rent is within limits, if the escalation clause in the lease actually takes it above that at any point in the life of the lease, then the lenders will decline it. What is the resolution to the issue of the ground rent? And it will be a straight no from all of the lenders. The resolution is for the client, or for us, on behalf of the clients, to approach the landlord or freeholder to see if they'll agree to a deed of variation of that lease in relation to that particular clause. You might say to me, actually, this is a big landlord, they probably won't agree to it. You'd be surprised. Over the last few years, particularly with the leasehold reforms on the horizon, landlords and managing agents and freeholders are becoming more receptive to approaches for deeds of variation in relation to the ground rent clause. So I always say, again, we will provide that information for you so you can see whether it's going to be an issue. Thirdly, when we get a copy of the lease for you, we'll look at the service charges, and you will need to compare the level of the service charge in relation to the value of the property to see whether it's acceptable to the particular lender that you've chosen. Each lender, of course, is different in the percentage of service charge to value that it will accept. Again, it will show the potential escalation clause of that service charge. Lastly, the lease will also show us the amount of the sinking fund, because as we all know, there's only a certain small level of percentage sinking fund that the lenders will accept. So there are four main issues with leasehold property, all of which are resolvable, but again, it's with good planning, and we always recommend you come to us first, so that you can then explain to your clients the costs involved, the issues involved, and how long it will take to resolve.